Hi, and welcome to Function Point. Today we're going to talk about a few simple skills that you need to get around the system to do things like track your time, see what tasks have been assigned to you, as well as find relevant information to the projects that you'll be working on. To get into the site, from functionpoint.com on the upper right-hand side, there's a login button. This will bring you to the main login page where you're going to use your specific company name, your full name, and your default password will be your first initial, last name, all in lowercase. In this case, J. Park. This brings us into the system at what we call the main dashboard. This is a high-level overview of all of the information that's been happening in the system, and you can return here at any time by either selecting the FP icon on the right-hand side or the upper left-hand side of your banner. Please keep in mind that your banner may look different, as that's something that's customized to each system. Now that we've logged in, we'll want to track a little bit of time. This can be found on the left-hand side of your main creative dashboard. There's a few different ways that we can track time, depending on what we've been working on. For example, if I was working on this poster, I can just select the clock icon, it will populate my timesheet, and I'm able to say what I was doing, as well as how long I did it for. At this point, I can even put in a description if I need. I can directly submit my timesheet from the main dashboard, and this is a great way of tracking your time if you're the type of person who likes to submit after every single meeting or every single thing that you complete. Another option, though, is to have a time clock running in the background. This is perfect for someone that just wants to set it and forget it, and just wants the time to happen automatically for them. The timesheet window button here will populate a new window that looks extremely similar, where I can search for a specific job, indicate what service I was doing, if there was a task associated to me. The time clock window will automatically start ticking away the seconds, keeping track of what you're doing for any job in the system. These fields here that have the magnifying glass to the right-hand side are actually searchable fields. So if I know that I'm working on a specific website, I can always find it. These seconds will tick away, and I'm able to go around in the system and find other useful information that I might need to look at while I'm doing my work, to later come back and submit that timesheet in the other window. Both of those examples have been when I track time just to a specific service. A service is something that makes up each job, what I was actually doing. Another option is to get more and more granular into something we call tasks and to-dos. By default, when you log into the system, your tasks bar will show things that are assigned to yourself in a status of open, and it will not be filtered by any job numbers. Of course, you have the option to change these things. Seeing what's assigned to myself or my role is a great option. Once more and more tasks populate in this list, you might want to start to review things that are starting soon, due soon, or if you're playing catch up, maybe even open and overdue. For now, I'll leave this in the status of open, so anything assigned or in progress. What that means is the status here on the right-hand side. It's used as a form of internal communication. You will only see things appear on this dashboard once they've been assigned to you. Moving it to a status of in progress will mean that you're confirming you know that this is assigned to you and you're actually working on it. You might notice when I make that change, I do get a time clock populating on the left-hand side of the task itself. I can click that, and again, it fills my complete timesheet. This time also showing me the level of specificity right down to the task. So I'm still working on that website. What I'm doing is account service, and what I'm completing is that first client discovery meeting. On this tasks and to-do bars, you'll see that the due date will be highlighted in red when something is overdue, bold if it's due today, and in normal text if I have time to work on it. You can sort this field as well by clicking on any of the titles, up, down, or off, to see what the timeline of events will be. Lastly, if I do submit time to this, create my timesheet here, I'm able to see where that time has been accrued. I was estimated 5 hours to conduct this client discovery meeting, and I've only used 1 hour of that time. So those are two different ways of tracking time, from the main dashboard or using that timesheet window. The last two ways of tracking time work for people that like to do a weekly overview and submit their time once a week. Very helpful for people that keep a clean calendar. Or people that are more mobile. We also have two different apps that we can now use. So let's take a look at these. When we go into the weekly view, it gives me a grid. By default, I will be the person selected, and I can come through here and find different jobs. Again, if I was working on a website, I can hit tab out of this field. It'll populate all the different websites I'm working on. Let's say it's this one. And I was doing concept for a total of 4 hours on Thursday. Complete concept. Okay. This will automatically save any changes, and it will remember the jobs that I work on from week to week so that I can submit next week for the time that I spent doing these same projects. Lastly, the iOS app is currently available in our App Store, and the Android app will be released soon. Now, this was our main dashboard tour, where we can find our timesheets, jobs that are open to us, any pinned notes, so something that people might want to communicate with us, as well as our tasks and to-dos. This is just a high-level overview, and tasks and to-dos is actually a huge part of the system and something that will be incredibly functional for you to organize your day. We can get to the main page of this that feeds all this information either by selecting this arrow here, View Full Screen, or by using the black module bar and selecting Tasks/To-Dos. This again gives me options to filter based on who this task is assigned to, what status it is in, or search for a specific job. This view is very similar, it just gives me a few other visual cues as to how much time I've spent with this task, and gives me the ability to change details about multiple tasks at one time, and if I need to, track multiple timesheets directly from this page. If you do want to keep your own personal to-do list in Function Point, that's also available to you. There's a plus task button on the upper right-hand side, or on our main dashboard, a quick task button. When we select this, we might have to keep it as simple as possible. Pick up my dry cleaning, give it a due date and time. It's going to happen on Wednesday. It needs to happen by 6 p.m. It might be a normal priority for me. This is an easy way to keep your own personal tasks. You could also use this, if necessary, to add tasks to existing work. If a client calls you and needs another specific thing done, you can search for that job and enter in other details here to allow you to track your time to that specific task. Lastly, when you mark a task as complete, The system will prompt you to remind you if you've done your timesheets for this task, and you may have the ability to pass this task on to someone else. Now that task has been removed to my dashboard, and Emma will get an alert. Alerts in our system can happen one of two ways. You'll either be notified by this bell icon with details about what's been happening in the system and what you need to do, or you may receive an email alerting you as to different actions that have happened in Function Point. Please speak with your Prime if you're receiving too few or too many alerts. The last skill that we're going to cover in the system is finding information and a find routine, as we like to call it in the system. Anytime we go somewhere in the system, it is in a hierarchy. For this example, currently the left-hand side is telling me that I'm on the task page, but the task fits under a company, which is overarching a job, which is overarching a schedule, and then into this detailed level of the specific task. At any point, I might want to use these links to backtrack and see more information about the company. I have multiple tabs that I can look through to find this information. And of course, I can add information myself. This gives us a lot of layers in the system to find different pieces of information we might need to complete our job. One of the best ways to pinpoint something quickly is to use the quick search function in the upper right-hand side. If, for example, I need to look up a specific contact, I can tell this company where to look. Select him here and see all of his details. Similarly, with a task, I can do the same. Or any other area within the system. This is great when I'm looking for a single point of information, but I might also need to pull a very quick report. In this case, I'm going to look for jobs within the system, and I'm going to find jobs. Now, this functionality of a find routine will be available to you anywhere in the system where it says find, any of the modules across the black bar here. I have the ability to filter by a lot of different descriptions, a lot of different statuses, a lot of different dates, and there's search tips to help me do so on the bottom left corner here. One that I find extremely valuable is putting a value in between. So the creation date, if I want to see all of the jobs that were created in May, I can select May 1 to May 27th, we'll put it tomorrow, and find those jobs. This gives me a listing of everything that's been created this month. If I want to amend the details that I see on this page, I can use the Manage Columns button on the upper right-hand side and select what's important to me. If I want to see maybe the estimated number of hours that have been tracked to this job. On the bottom of this page, it gives me a high-level overview of what this report will look like, and I can actually grab my new column and move it around anywhere to give different order and different visual on this report. Please keep in mind that this will be unique to each login in the system, so this is only for Jordan. It will not affect any other member of the company. These reports can then be either pulled out as a CSV or printed as a PDF for you to take to your next meeting. To quickly recap everything we covered today, I'm going to take us back to our main dashboard. I can do so by either hitting the upper left-hand corner of the banner or the FP symbol here. Key takeaways that I want you to work with are that you can track time either directly to a job, or you can track time to a task that has been assigned to you. The different ways that we can track time are from the main dashboard by entering a duration, or using the start and stop clock, by the weekly view, or by the app. When working with tasks, I can use filters within my dashboard here, or open out to the full screen view. And lastly, by doing a find routine from any of the black module bars here, I'll be able to amend the details being shown to me in the report. If at any time you have a question about where you are in the system or how to function within the system, please navigate down to the little question mark or InApp Help. This will show you curated articles related to the page that you are working on. It also has a link to our FP library, which is the mothership of how-tos here. This is a searchable document library that will give you step-by-step instructions for anything you may need. Enjoy diving into your new system. I wish you all the luck in the world, and we're here to help you as any questions may arise.